All right. Hello, everybody. This is Dan King from Fist Bump Media, and I'm excited today to be running another one of our fantastic webinars. We get such great feedback about these things. This one on a business strategy and one of my favorite topics, and it's about blogging. I've been a blogger for probably 12, 13, 14 years or so maybe. So I've been doing it for a long time, a lot really just personally, but really also too since I've launched Fist Bump Media, I've been doing it professionally as well. So I've got a lot of background and experience and stuff too, and it's just a native place for me to be thinking about, talking about writing online and using that to reach people with ideas and thoughts and stories and all kinds of great stuff. But this is an interesting one too, because again we're talking about business strategy. So I want to dig into how blogging impacts your business and how to do it right. Because blogging, I've seen over the years, has really had the power like very few other things I think I've ever seen in the online world to really help you reach people, right? To get your ideas out there, to spread ideas, and for business, those ideas might be about products and services and things like that you have, ways that you can make a difference and make an impact for your customers. And really kind of dig in and be a resource and be helpful to people. We've used blogging ourselves with Fist Bump Media over the years. Really, to be completely honest, we've kind of gone through swings where we're doing a bunch of it, but then we're not doing so much. But we use a lot of different content strategies and stuff, webinars like this, and blogging and other things, e-courses that we put together, and ebooks and all kinds of stuff. But really, blogging is really can have a huge impact. And I know as a business owner, business manager, somebody responsible for marketing for your organization stuff is probably asking the question, why blogging? How can blogging really help me, right? So I'm going to answer that, and that's really they're going to be the first thing that we're going to dive into here. So as we look, I've got two charts here for you, and these are some actual results from one of our clients who was building up a presence. They had an existing website. When we started working with them, they had another designer stuff that had initially put together the website, but we kind of took over and helped manage it and everything too for them. But that top chart is before we started blogging, right? I ran some metrics and analytics, and we'd already been working with them for several months on some other things, but not even really doing a lot of the blogging. And this is business blogging. Writing on topics relevant to their business and to their industry, things that their customers are asking about and stuff. And in the first chart, what you're seeing there is keyword position distribution, and basically at any position, and positions one through 3 is the goal, the top 3 positions on a search result, but 1 through 10 is going to be the first page, 11 through 20 is going to be the second page, and so on. Third page, up to 30, and so on. So you see really the first 10 pages of search results listed on these charts. And what this chart is showing you how many keyword terms are this business, this website is showing up for in searches in each of those pages within the first 10 pages. So you see before blogging, we only had one search term that was showing up anywhere in the first page in the top 10, only 2 terms showing up on page 2, and only 3 terms showing up on page 3. And then even after that, the volume still showing up within the first 10 pages. That's 100 results. Very few keyword terms were showing up there all together, right? But after this was about 7-8 months or so of blogging time. And really, this is one of the biggest things and the biggest focus that we had that was driving any kind of keyword volume and stuff for them. You can see based on that alone, the first page you have 10 terms now showing up on the first page. But what's really fascinating to me is you start to see the volume shift up quite a bit. And there's more, to be honest with you, too, that I would love to do with this client, just from an overall search engine optimization perspective and stuff too, to really get more stuff up on that first page. But look at that volume, right? We went from 2 terms that we're ranking for on page 2 to 32 terms. 3 terms on page 3 to 40 terms. You see the keyword volume for everything else on the first top 100 pages is significantly more, right? And the reason for that is because we were continuing to produce content on the website that was bringing in a lot more of the keyword variety and stuff. And all of these keywords, these are keywords that are very relevant to their business, right? So these are things that people are asking and doing searches on and stuff too. If you're an interior designer, I'll probably use that example a few times here, but if you're an interior designer, it's not always interior design, insert city name here. There might be questions that people are asking. It's like, how much does interior design cost? What are some hot trends in interior design right now and stuff, right? So it's all these different kinds of search terms are things that we attack from a blogging perspective that bring in that volume. That means there are that many more opportunities to get found. So when you look at that range there's a lot more opportunities to get found because of the blogging than with this. And what we tend to see too is when you start seeing this, there is definitely an increase and a lift in organic search traffic that's coming to your website. So blogging can be a very powerful tool that can really help make a big difference for you. Okay. So with that, really one of the biggest questions then that we get to with implementing a good blogging strategy for a business is how do you come up with the topics, right? We work with a lot of business owners and stuff too, and a lot of them are like, I'm not a writer, I don't know what to write about, blah, blah, blah. Really, we are kind of a company, an agency that we go after the data. What does the data tell us that we should be searching for? So there's a few things that we do to really help us understand which topics we should be writing blog posts about. And this is really the key, because you can write a blog post about all kinds of stuff. It doesn't mean that's what people are searching for. So we use a few tools. One of the tools we use is a tool called SEMrush. There's a great tool within the toolkit here called topic research. And again, using that example of interior design, if you're an interior designer, I could just plug in the basic keyword interior design and say, hey, what are some of the hot trends and what are people searching for? And this will give me kind of a range of different types of subtopics and stuff. You can see some of them: interior design, Los Angeles, interior design, app, career. Some of those things may not be relevant to you too, but notice the fire, right? The trending subtopics and stuff. These are the ones, and in this result, there's a lot of trending subtopics. Some of them are not so much, right? They get some decent volume, search volume stuff, but it's not so much a trending topic. But let's look around a couple things too, right? So one of them that just strikes my eye here too is design trends, right? So if I'm writing a blog post for an interior designer, design trends might be one of the things that I want to kind of go after, right? It's a hot trending topic right now. It gets some decent search volume and stuff too. But when I dig into this a little bit too, I can see some samples of headlines and then questions. Well, what are top interior design trends of 2019? What's trending for interior design? What drives trends in interior design, right? These are all questions that people are asking of the search engines and stuff right now too, that we can go after and develop blog posts about them. And then when I look at this kind of data, there might be some things that, not so much, but there is certainly going to give me some ideas and show me the kind of stuff that is going big, right? It gives me an idea too of topic efficiency. This is not too bad. A difficulty level to really kind of break in, a volume of searches that are being done for that topic and stuff. Difficulty there is probably a little bit high. Let's take a look at another one of these here real quick too, and maybe jump over to space planning. in comparison. The volume there we see is actually a little bit higher, and look at that. The difficulty is actually a little bit lower, and the topic efficiency is higher. So this might actually give us some better opportunities going after not necessarily just design trends, but space planning, right? More volume, more search might be easier to break into. What is space planning and interior design? How can a modern home interior design transform your space? These are questions, right? I can write a blog post about that, and it could be something that could just get us some really great traction for people who are asking questions in our niche. That gives us opportunity to go after keywords like space planning and transform your space and stuff like that too within blog post topics and ideas. And that's how we get that additional keyword volume that we're really looking for to give us more of those opportunities. Somebody doing this search for what's trending in interior design, how can a modern home interior design transform your space? Those are questions that people are not searching for interior design, insert your city name here. These are specific questions that they're asking, and you want to show up for those. And if we can show up number 1, 2, 3 for those, create really great content, then you're talking about driving some substantial traffic to your website. So one thing about this though, SEMrush this is a premium tool. This is a tool that we use when we're working with our clients and where I go to do my research and stuff too. It may not be something that you use and spend the money on and stuff too, but there are other free tools out there as well. And I love this one, right? Answer the Public. And let's say I want to go look for interior design, and I'm just going to say, give me answers or give me some of the questions that people are asking related to interior design. And what this is going to do, it's going to go out and it's going to kind of pull up a lot of the data that's out there. And this is a free tool, and there's premium versions and stuff as well too. But it's going to give us some results and some data and stuff related to what's happening with interior design. And when this pops up here, taking a second, when this pops up here, what we'll see a bunch of questions that people are asking. Again, very much like the data that I see, some of the questions might be related to things like, what are some of the best interior design jobs? Where do I go to school to get an education in interior design? Stuff like that too. Some of that stuff may not be relevant, but just like our topic research, what you're going to find is you're going to find a lot of questions and stuff too that people are asking. What are the trends in interior design, stuff like that too. So this is really just another way. Answer the Public, fantastic tool. And again, this is probably taking a few minutes here just because I'm also streaming video here across this as well too, which sometimes makes some of these other functions go a little bit slower. But yeah, definitely use tools like this to look at and capture the data, topic research, and going after the right terms, the things that people are asking, especially trending. If you can capture topics that are trending different times a year, stuff too, then that's always going to help you out. For example, one of our clients too is a roofer. And here in the state of Florida, and hurricane season is a big deal for roofs and stuff too. So we know that when hurricane season comes around every year, there is a trend for people doing searches related to how do I protect my home for hurricane. A hurricane just came, and how do I get roof repairs and stuff like that, whatever. During hurricane season we see trends for hurricane stuff too, but off season for that's not a big search. So we can leverage those trends over time as well too to make a big impact. All right, so with that, the next thing I want to talk about is once you've done your research for topics and found some really fantastic topics to write blog posts about, there are some things that you should keep in mind when, as it relates to, how do I write and produce good blog posts? And here's just a few tips, right, for how we create great blog posts. And these are things, kind of guiding principles for us when we're putting together content like this for our clients. But number one is stop selling. Right, and this is number one for a reason, because we work with a lot of clients that, like, hey, I put together a blog post, and they think that every blog post needs to be the home run hit of a sales pitch every single time, and that is not the case, right? Part of that is really understanding how users on the other end use blog posts and how they relate to that content and stuff too. They might have a question, right? If they're looking for interior design trends, they're not coming to get your sales pitch. They're coming to get some information about what is trending, right? And so what you want to do is get away from the selling perspective sometimes and just focus on being a resource. Focus on developing the relationship with that potential customer. So stop the selling in your blog post. That's not the place to do it. If you get them on your website, there are ways then too that, one thing I love to do is how do I get them from that blog post to take a next step? We'll talk about that one in a second. How do I get them to take a next step, which moves them further along into the sales process and stuff too? Maybe eventually I'll get them to a sales page where I can pitch the products and stuff too. But really, stop selling. Be a resource, be helpful, develop relationships, connect with people using those blog posts. Stop selling, big number one. Second thing is be relatable, right? So when you're getting away from the selling mentality, then really it's about just connecting with people, right? The thing is you got to realize people don't want to necessarily talk to a company, they want to talk to a person. So stay away from the corporate talk, stay away from the business industry jargon and all that stuff. Just be relatable, right? Have fun with it in a sense of sound like a human being, hanging out, talking to another human being. Right? And that comes across on the other end. It's like, wow, this is really easy to read. I can understand these people. I can connect with that, right? So you want to be relatable. Don't try to elevate yourself in a sense of being too businessy and stuff within the post. The third thing is be interesting, right? Be interesting, and there's a lot of ways you can do this. You can use humor, you can use great charts and graphics and information and data and bullet points or whatever it is. Make sure that you're continually working to keep that person's interest, right? Really, the goal of every single sentence in a blog post is to get somebody to read the next sentence. Okay. And I know it sounds funny, but it's a big thing too. Even with number 4 here, is we talk about write great post titles, right? When somebody sees a title for your blog post on social media somewhere, that title's whole job is to get them to click through to read the first paragraph, right? That first paragraph should be interesting enough and capture them enough and help them identify and relate enough to what you had to say that they want to read the next paragraph after that, right? So definitely be interesting. Spark curiosity, ask questions, have fun with it and stuff too. But then, like I said, that number 4, write great blog post titles, because that is the thing that definitely gets them to click through. There's a tool we use, we love it. It comes from CoSchedule.com, where they have article, blog post title review, and they look through a bunch of data and stuff like that to help you kind of figure out words that you should use and avoid and stuff like that too. But that's something that we have really kind of built into our systems and everything too when we're producing blog posts for our clients. But yeah, that always helps. That helps kind of create that click. I want to click through, not clickbait that we see a lot of times, but spark the curiosity enough to help kind of click through. Really, that post title is arguably one of the most important pieces of content that you'll write in the entire blog post, because if you don't get that initial click through to read it, then you missed it, right? So that's what that should do. And number 5, include a call to action for the next step, right? And don't take me wrong in this. This is not about selling, right? I'm not saying, okay, well, you said stop selling, so now's my chance to sell. Because it's not a sales pitch, try to sell all the products kind of thing. It is a call to action for the next step. Okay, so for example, I might write a blog post about blogging, right? Business blogging, content marketing, for example, right? The blog post itself, the purpose of the blog post is not to have somebody pick up the phone right away and call me up and, hey, Dan, I need you guys to do this for me, okay? It's to help educate them enough, help them learn enough, help build credibility enough in what we do and stuff too, right? Do all these different things so that maybe my call to action is, well, maybe learn more about how this can help you in your business, right? Check this out and we'll audit your existing blog post or whatever. Whatever it is, have them take one more step, have some kind of call to action within the post so that there's some kind of next step to contact you, figure something out. And it's not a sale, but it moves them more into that funnel, that marketing funnel, to get the sale there for you. Okay. Yeah. All right. So the next thing is once you've come up with great topics and you've produced really great content and stuff, the next thing is how do you leverage that for search engines and social media and stuff like that, right? So one of the big things is every blog post that we try to set up, we always try to make sure that it is optimized well for the keyword terms, right? So if we're going, interior design trends, for example, then we're going to make sure that those keywords are built right in what's called the metadata, which is the post title, the description, the things that show up on the search results and stuff too. We're going to make sure the images are optimized right, all these different elements and stuff too, to make sure that it's set up well for search engine success. And I'll talk about another aspect here in a second too, but if I can get some links pointing back to it and stuff like that as well, then that is a big plus, because the links also help kind of create the signals with the search engines that this content is of value. But really one of the big things though too that you have a little bit more control over is, aside, you set everything up right, the search engines still figure out how to index it and everything too, compared to all the other stuff that's out there. But one of the other bigger things that you have some control over too is how you use it on social media. Okay. And again, using our tool CoSchedule here too, this is a tool that I really, really love. And you can see even one of our blog posts, promising results on the cheap, SEO case study, scored 77 green. That's a good score for the blog post title. Again, write really great titles and stuff. But this is a fantastic tool because I can use the tool to help me schedule this over social media, right? And one mistake people make is that I write a blog post and we shared it on Facebook once and that was it. There's nothing else I can do. Well, really what I like to do is I like to create a schedule, a sharing schedule, especially over the first 30 to 60 days or so, where I'm really pumping that content out quite a bit. And something like this too, promising results on the cheap, an SEO case study. This case study is something that I even use when I send it to people via email. If I'm talking to somebody and the elements that I talk about in this case study have something to do with what they're considering hiring us for, I might send them this case study and say, boom, there you go. And so I can continue to leverage this content in a lot of different ways over time. So it's not just something that, it's on the blog and it's on the website and it's helping with our SEO and stuff too. These are resources that you can send to clients to help you sell, right? Depending on the focus of the post and what it does and so on. But it also means too that I can share this stuff over time, right? So what I'll do is, and you'll see this, I create a schedule where I share to Facebook as a link, I share to Pinterest, I share to Twitter a few times the first day. The next day I share to Twitter again a couple times, share to LinkedIn, so you can see basically these are past posts and stuff for this one blog post. But I share it out to Instagram, a lot of different ways, and I can continue to share it. I can continue to look for ways to share this content. But one thing that's really important too, from a social media perspective too, is, and I just had somebody ask me this just yesterday about, hey, can we create a connection and a link so that if I share something on Facebook, it also automatically shares it over to Pinterest, right? And that is really bad strategy, right? Because each of the platforms has its own strengths, has its own purpose. People look for content a certain way. It needs to look right and stuff, right? And I'm just going to share a couple of examples here too. So, for example, this post on LinkedIn, you see I've got a little bit of a description, and it's a link that's going to click out and go over to the post, right? LinkedIn also does like hashtags and stuff too. The very targeted hashtags. This is for small business, digital marketing, SEO. So we share it that way. Share it as a link post on LinkedIn. But look at this, how this is different, right? Because you notice the image for the blog post. That's the image that's on the blog post itself. But we go over to Pinterest and we create something different, right? This is an image share post, right? So that it's a taller kind of Pinterest style, right? The kind of taller portrait style images and stuff, the more horizontal type stuff that also links to with different styling, right? Big promising results on the cheap SEO case study, so you can see how the style there is even different too. Now let's take this even to Instagram, right? Again, something else, just different format. I pulled a quote out of the blog post, made more of a meme type graphic and stuff, and just said, hey, this is new over on the blog. I can't add links in there and stuff on Instagram right now. So, so I just tell them, go to the blog and stuff too, but this is the title of the post that you're looking for, but here's a cool key idea. And then something like that, I can post over to Instagram, and that's, going to have its own life over there too. But that's something that needs to be a little bit more native to the Instagram platform and how it looks. So 3 very different looking posts, right? Because I'm looking at 3 very different platforms and trying to figure out what's going to work, right? Just that image by itself, right, is not going to work really great on Instagram. Something like that, you're going to get a little bit more notice and a little more visibility and stuff. So definitely leverage social media. Build out a social media plan, a calendar where you share that content repeatedly over time, especially over the first 30, 60 days or so. But the roofer client, for example, we've created content on that blog years ago about hurricane season and being ready for it and stuff too. We don't have to write a new blog post about that every year. We can reshare the old content and also share a new perspective, right? So I can keep leveraging even the old content that was written years ago every time that comes up, within the season. So definitely build out the plan that's going to spread that out over time and get you some good leverage for visibility. The last thing I want to hit here too is, and this is kind of a bonus tip, right? Because really, what we just covered was covered from number one, why you should be doing this, but doing your topic research, how to find the right kinds of topics that are going to get you the leverage that you're looking for. How to write great blog posts, things to kind of keep in mind about the focus and how you develop the content, and then how you leverage that stuff and share it out, right? That's not the end of the blog post life, right? So we've got another little bonus tip here too that is kind of one of the pieces of our little sort of secret sauce, if you will, to really help you get more mileage out of content. If you're publishing content on your business website, you really want that to go a long way. And what I'm talking about here now is what we call blog syndication, right? In syndication, it's not a new idea. Radio shows, TV shows, and stuff have done it for years. Where maybe the first run premieres of a TV show may run on a major network, but then the reruns may run in syndication across other channels and platforms later on. But it's this idea that you take a one piece of original content and you syndicate it, you share it out to other areas. And it's not necessarily sharing in the sense of just here's a link back to me, but it's like you can publish my content too, right? So if you're writing good content, then it's a good idea to be able to share that content out with the world, right? So we do that we work with lots of media outlets and stuff, news channels, stuff like that. And so, for example, we've taken a piece of our own content, we've shared it out, and it's gone out to dozens. You see in this case, we got it out to 63 news outlets and stuff. And some of these are radio station websites, TV channel websites, and so on. But what's really great about this, and I'll even show you an example too. This is one of them. We're based in Sarasota, Florida, and we're looking at the Suncoast News Network website, which is a local kind of 24/7 news media outlet, similar like the CNNs and Headline News and all those guys too. But it's just for local Sarasota, Florida Suncoast area and stuff too. So one of my blog posts was syndicated and republished. So this is also running on our website, but it was syndicated on a local news channel website, right? And you see too that it even throws in a little bit of a link. It says originally posted on the Fistbump Media website. So it's giving me a link back to my website, which is again giving me some credibility from for a search engine perspective, that a high authority website is pointing back to me saying this content, we're publishing it, but the original source is with Fistbump Media. Let's give them the credit and stuff too. So this is a fantastic way, as you syndicate content. And this is something we can do too. So even if you're writing your own blog post, we can help with the syndication process and get your content out there to more media outlets and more platforms and stuff. This does a few things. It helps with building the authority and stuff for your own website, the credibility. But think about this now too. If we get this published on certain news outlets for your website, it gives you bragging rights. Like, we've been published on the SNN website, and local people around here would know SNN, right? Look for our article on SNN, that kind of thing. So there's a lot of really great factors. It really kind of puts you on a more level playing field with some of the big dogs, because your content is being produced and published on major media outlet type websites. So really fantastic tool. The syndication product is something we definitely recommend to help you get your content out there and viewed by more people. So anyway, so that's the big stuff right there. And this is certainly stuff too. You may be saying, but Dan, I'm not a writer, right? I don't know how to write. That's something that we can help with as well too. Really everything that we just covered here for you to kind of show you that this is what you could do. You could take that and do it on your own, but it's the same process that we go through, right? We do a great deal of topic research to look for the trends that we should be writing blog posts about right now. We produce that content really well optimized for SEO, but also with the right angles. Using some of those tips that we talk about too. They're not sales pitches. They're informational tools and resources stuff that people will actually look to try to use. And so we create that content, and then we can even help with getting it pushed out and published out to your social media platforms or whatever stuff, but it's definitely going to be optimized really well for search engines, and then we can really boost that with some of the syndication product and stuff as well too. So here's the deal: if it's not you, but you see the value in that, hit us up, let us know. We can certainly help with that. But yeah, play around with that. Look for some of those ideas. Ask the public and find some topics, things that people are searching for, and see what kind of blog posts you can dream up and put out there. And with that, I just want to say thanks for joining us for another great webinar. I just have a big fist bump for you. Have an awesome day. Thanks.